Hey guys, welcome back. This is lesson 11 of the Life After Narcissism course, and today I want to talk to you really quickly about getting unstuck. While you're going through the process of recovery and rebuilding your life after narcissism, you are going to come to places where you just feel like you're stuck, where you're going to feel like all of the progress that you've made, all of the attempts that you've made to rebuild your life have not produced anything fruitful. You're going to feel like, I didn't do anything, none of this is effective. I need to try something else. And so before you just abandon everything that you've already invested and try to find a different strategy or try to do something different, or maybe you're just feeling like you want to give up at trying to rebuild, I want to share with you the way that I have always gotten unstuck, and I still use this even now. When I'm facing a big problem, when I'm facing a lot of stress, when I'm feeling squeezed, I feel like my outside circumstances, the things happening to me in the natural, are really squeezing me. I still do this. This is the way to get unstuck, and it's a very simple way, but it isn't always easy. You're not going to feel like doing it, and that's when you need to do it. So the way to get unstuck is to worship God and to give Him thanks, to be grateful, to be thankful, and to worship Him. When you stop focusing on your problem, because sometimes we make our problems seem completely we can't do anything with them, right? They're this huge mountain that we could never climb, we could never speak to, we can't fix it, it's totally impossible. And that's because we've been staring at the mountain too long. We haven't been looking at the face of Jesus, and so we need to learn how to seek His face, even when we are completely surrounded by problems everywhere. So I started to be thankful intentionally, meaning I keep track of all the things that I'm thankful for, and every day I add to the list at least 3 things, between 3 and 12 things that I've not written down before that I'm grateful for today. And I've been doing this for a few years, so I've got thousands and thousands of things that I've been writing down. And when you are looking for things to be grateful for, your focus is going to shift. And you might be thinking like, well, this is a mind game. That problem is still there. Even if I look over here, that problem is still over here. It's not a mind game. I'm going to tell you what happens, because again, everything has spiritual roots. When you connect with the spirit realm, those issues start to dissolve. Your prayers start to dissolve that mountain. Your worship dissolves that mountain. Because when you do the thing that you're created to do, by the way, we were all created to worship. That's what you're here to do. You're here to be a worshiper. So when you start doing the thing you were created to do, God is going to do what He was created to do. He wasn't, and by that I don't mean God is a created being. I just mean He cannot help Himself. He cannot help Himself but be a deliverer. He cannot help Himself but be a provider. God is those things. God is love. It's not something He does. It's who He is. Just as you can't stop me from being a woman, it's the way that I was made. You cannot prevent me from doing that. You cannot prevent me from being a mom. I was created to do that. And so when you allow God to do what He does, you do what you do, you allow God to do what He does, and you're going to start to see that problem dissolve. You're going to start to see that whole host of mountains dissolve, because you're giving up control. A lot of times we prevent God from working in our lives because we think that we need to do it all, and that's not at all how God wants us to do it. It's not the system that He created. It's not the principles, the way that things work. They don't work that way. And so when you know Him, you know His ways, and you understand that, worship. And I will not leave. I will not leave worship until I have felt that burden lift from me, where I feel like I don't even care about that mountain that is trying to convince me it exists. I know it doesn't. I've just worshiped God in the throne room for an hour, for 2 hours, for 3 hours, and I didn't see that mountain there. I'm going to be calling things as they are in heaven here on earth. That's the definition of faith. It calls things that are not as though they were. And so that's going to be the standard that I apply to my own life. But worship and thanksgiving and being intentional in it every single day. I start my day off with worship. Every single day I start my day off with thanksgiving. And so it makes it easy for me to find that place, because that place is very natural to me. So I feel like I've created like a cabin, a little retreat that I can go to anytime. And it's built of, its walls are made up of my prayers, its walls are made up of my thanks and my worship. And so I encourage you all to be intentional with your thanksgiving, with your worship, and see if that doesn't help your mountains dissolve. So that's going to conclude this lesson. I will see you for lesson 12 next video, which is our last lesson.